You can start.
Hi everyone, it's our pleasure, actually, it's my pleasure to be with you on such a this program, and our head of the meeting is Silicon scholars with real scholars, the struggle for epistemic integrity in the age of AI. Our guest, our speaker is Vaxhide Spahiu, who is from Albania. And firstly, I want to present her biography to you. After it, she will start to talk about her presentation. Actually, we have two parts. On first meeting, she will present her presentation. She will share her presentation with us. And on second part, the the questions will be started, and everyone is free for asking about any topic related to our main topic. And thank you for attending in our meeting. And firstly, I want to share biography of Vaxhide Spahiu with you. Vaxhide Spahiu is an experienced physics and STEM educator with a strong academic background, holding both a master's and a bachelor degree in physics from the University of Tehran. She has taught at international institutions including the International Ma'arif Schools of Kosovo, Infinite Qatar Training Center, and Weja Visionary in Dubai, where she has led science departments, developed curriculum resources, and prepared students for AQA exams and international STEM competitions. In addition to her teaching and leadership roles, she is co-author of the teacher's books for physics grades 6, 7, and 9, published by Dukaini Publishing House, further contributing to curriculum development and teacher support. She has also delivered teacher training programs, authored educational materials, and fostered innovation in instruction. Lately, she has focused on artificial intelligence, with current work exploring its educational use and ethical implications. And I want to add maybe one or two sentence also. Now she is a teacher of physics at Marif Schools of Kosovo, and also she is preparing to her PhD process. And in her PhD proposal, she will she will study especially some, if you let me to talk about it, Vajide, I didn't ask you, please forgive me.
No
Yeah,
worries.
she thinks that she will study the relations between quantum physics and AI and humanity, right, Vajide? Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you are ready, it's our pleasure to follow your presentation, your speaking, to listen what you think about AI. And if all of participants are ready, I want to give the speaking to Wajda. Mrs. Wajda Spahiu, please, you can start.
Thank you very much. First of all, good evening to everyone. And I would like to extend my deepest and warmest greetings to all of you, especially to the Professor Mehmet Bilgen and to you, Professor Muhammet Özdemir. I really thank you for this opportunity that you have given to me to share some experiences and some opinions together. And I really hope that this discussion will be beneficial, and at the same time, a good energy will be transmitted through all of us or among all of us. That's the most important part, or that's what I wish the most. I'm a physics teacher and I'm really interested in the latest inventions. And the first, when we mention the word the latest inventions, of course, the first thing that comes in our mind, it is artificial intelligence. And another reason why I'm interested in the artificial intelligence is the fact that despite the global warming, it is converted in one of our biggest concerns right now. And I'm trying to explain deeper the reason why already artificial intelligence somehow it is converted in one of our biggest concerns. Even why the discussion about AI has been intensified lately, all of us are aware that this term it's not new in the scientific world. We know that this term has been, or this concept for the first time has been proposing in 1950 from Alan Turing. And the first project that has been initiated in trying to make a machine that could stimulate human intelligence has been initiated in 1956. What is one of the aims of AI? Indeed, in the beginning and even today, the aims for AI was to extend or to enhance or to send further the human intelligence. But maybe on the way, some things has been changing or some new ideas has been implemented in this interesting process, if I can call it so. The only objective in the beginning, as I said, the only objective was to enhance the human preferences and the human interest. But big question arises here. Are we able to put in that system the whole preferences or the whole interest of 8.3 or approximately 8.2 or 8.3 billion of interests? Are we able to put all of these interests there? Of course, the answer is not. And why we have to put all of these interests here? Because all the interests and the desires or even the preferences of all of us matter, and we are obligated to consider all of them. And here it comes that blurry part, or that thing that a lot of question marks arise in our mind. And of course, we have the tendency to start investigating, analyzing the new things that are happening. Are they really beneficial for us, or are they harmful for us? How harmful are they actually? What is the tendency for the level of harmfulness that can cause in our society, and so on? And one of the most critical parts that I would like to share tonight with you, it is the aspect of the ethics. And we know that in order for a certain system to operate perfectly or to be efficient, of course, it is that a certain system must consider some ethical values that we cannot skip or we cannot neglect. We cannot do like they are not important to us. And this is the reason why I'm going to try to share my presentation tonight with you. First of all, let me just share it because it will be easier for you in order to better understand the message that I'm trying to share tonight with all of you. So I'm going to start my presentation. Is my presentation available for all of you?
Yes.
Yes, you can see the presentation. Okay, that's great. First of all, the first thing that I would like to do is to explain why I have put this title, why SLICON scholars versus the real scholars, and the struggle for epistemic integrity, the struggle for, let me just remove this thing from here. Okay, that's great. Why I have put this title here? The reason is pretty simple. Of course, it is related with the fact that the silicon is the core material in the contemporary chips or in contemporary electronics. And the second reason it is related with the region that is located in the Northern California, in which there are placed the whole high-tech companies. That's why I have chosen this title. And another reason why I have this title is that I have tried to make a kind of parallel line between the interpretation of the knowledge, especially divine knowledge, through the SLICON scholars and the real scholars that will already know what are they. And in my study, I have noticed that the epistemic integrity is missing. That's why it is one of the key concepts that I have underlined here. Going on with my presentation, I would like to start with a statement that is done by Jerry Seinfeld, and he said that we are smart enough to invent an AI, dumb enough to need it, and so stupid we cannot figure out if we did the right thing. And we have to admit that this is the vicious circle in which we all are currently in. All of us agree that yes, we are smart and we did this kind of huge invention. And we have converted somehow in dumb people that we really need to use it. Why? Because we use AI, even in writing a birthday message, even in answering an email, even in creating a kind of framework for different proposals that we might have. Or even we use it even in strange ways, like, for example, imitating the voices of dead celebrities, or even in fortune telling. So the range or the spectrum in which we already use AI is very, very high, starting from basic things that makes us dumb, and continuing even with the most strangest thing, like fortune telling, for example. And we can say that the Jerry Seinfeld was the one that really hit the sweet spot. Said in other words, we totally agree with what he said. If we'll continue with a kind of introduction, of course, I have to go back in history. Going back in history makes me remember a lot of things. For example, makes me remember the interesting fact that in 1976, it was done a kind of protest from the mathematicians in UK and USA in order to prevent the usage of calculators. And the same thing comes in my mind even when the printing press has been brought in this word, or has been considered as one of the inventions that maybe can create some different risk, but indeed it resulted totally the contrary. What I want to say is that the humanity has been constantly struggling with the different changes that has been happening in our world, in this world. And then, what is the aim of the paper that I have written, or the aim of this presentation? The aim is to provoke critical reflection among different scholars that the AI tools that we are actually using, are they accurate? Are they truly credible? Especially when it comes to the authentic religious use. What is missing here, of course, it is a kind of integrity, and the integrity is missing in different dimensions or in different levels. We can find out different fields in which the integrity is missing. And the first thing that I want to share here, it is the illusion of accuracy. To all of us has happened that when we ask a question to ChatGPT, we get an answer, and the answer looks like it's true. It has a kind of chronology in the information that is given. It looks like even it is logical. It looks like it has sense what is saying, but indeed, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it is just an illusion that is created from these interesting AI tools. So now, especially now that AI has reached interesting fields like for example, fields like tafsir, hadith, fiqh, and so on, we must say in this case that the data-driven accuracy lacks the moral truth, lacks the fairness, and in the same time lacks the verification. And all of these indeed are the true definition of the real knowledge. And when we come in this point, we are seeing that the integrity, especially of the Islamic scholarship, has been broken. We'll continue with another important point. Why I consider it important is the fact that the source or the data that with which these systems work, of course, they are very important. We must make something clear here. Algorithms provide answers and not wisdom. We have to divide these two things here. So it is just there are just different answers that are provided, not wisdom. And as an Ibn Sirin said, this knowledge is religion. So we have to be careful from who we are taking our religion from. The lacking of the different, they are missing different elements. What is the first one? Of course, these data, I would like to relate it with the first one. These data that are used from these systems, of course, are put it there from the persons that don't have the religious background, for example. If they don't have the necessary background for a certain field, what would be with the outputs that we'll get from these systems? Will they be accurate? Will they be the proper ones, the ones that we are looking for? And of course, the answer, it is obvious. And here, even while these data can be carefully curated, yet they are missing the human depth that the machines cannot replicate. And this is the point in which their outputs will become a bit distorted, or creating it somehow they'll create a kind of misinformation. And we are not interested in misinformation because we are already aware from the consequences that can come from there. Another point is reclaiming ethical development. In order to align technology with faith, Muslims must evaluate AI through principles of amana, adl, and sidq. We know that these concepts are very powerful, and if a certain knowledge that we want to transmit to someone else, it's not important who are the persons to which we want to transmit this knowledge, and it's not important what kind of information is that. It is scientific information, it is a religious information, it is a social topic, and so on. But according to me, all of this information must be transmitted through the values that I have just mentioned. Why we have to do so? Because we are interested in becoming ethical developers and not converting ourselves in just passive users. So, in this way, doing this way, we can create a kind of harmony that is necessary between the progress in which we are actually involved, we have to move on, and in the same time with the spiritual integrity that I really consider it very important. Let's move to another point. Another important point, it is that I would like to share with you some insights that I got from the literature review and about the integrity and the ethical guidance. What is the first one? Accuracy doesn't mean trust. So, if we see an information that may look like accurate, it doesn't mean that this information is true. Or, said in other words, accuracy in AI doesn't ensure or doesn't guarantee us trust. This is the reason why this happens is because of the presence of a very dangerous element. This element is known as hallucination. This element, in each case, in whole AI tools, according to the scientific research, is present from 5 up to 30%. And mitigation methods sometimes help, but yet integrity remain again a challenge. In some cases, this dangerous element is totally inevitable. We cannot evitate it despite our mitigation methods that we'll try to use there. Another important insight that I got from the papers that I study and from the whole studies that I did related to this question is that AI, if we try to study AI in one side and the Islamic integrity on the other side, what we'll find is a very interesting connection that exists between them. The interesting connection is that both disciplines, if I can call them so, of course I can call them so, it is that they are rooted in precision, discipline, integrity, and oversight. But if we study them despite one another or kind of away from each other, yes, we find these powerful elements through which we have to accompany the transmission of knowledge. But once we try to put them together, there happens the distortion, and of course, there the trust is lost. The third point that I think that is important to share with you, it is that even this is from my insight that I got from them, it is that the trust is the one that gains the battle through against the distortion. In which case, when the whole interpretations are grounded in the scriptures and in the scholarly consensus, we know that despite the scriptures, even the scholarly consensus is very important. And this is the point in which the trust gains the battle against the distortion. From here, I'll move to another important point. Which are the limits in which we can move here? Or what is the level of flexibility that we have here? And of course, the answer is obvious. In transmitting, especially the divine knowledge, there is no room for flexibility or compromise. The truth must remain pure. AI may operate efficiently without ethics, but it cannot uphold or earn the genuine trust. So, yes, we know that it can operate without ethics, and indeed it is actually operating without ethics, but the genuine trust cannot be gained in this way. That's why I consider this a very important point at which we have to be careful. First of all, being aware that is like this, and then being careful when we use it, and as scholars, we're obligated to look for another way in order to create such systems that operate in an ethical way, if it is possible, because due to some elements, I'm very skeptic that we can do so. I'm saying that the AI systems can operate without ethics. What happens there? Yes, AI is focused, generally the focus of AI, it's not in ethics, it's not in truth, it's not in accountability, but its focus is just in the accuracy. And making the focus the accuracy, it means that here we have the lack of content, the lack of ethics and accountability. That is one of the most important things. Its speed never cannot compensate the ethical and the emotional reasoning or the emotional understanding that human beings have, and this can lead us to results that really are not related with the truth. On the other side, if we compare this to the human scholars, of course, they have, here we can find wisdom and we can find accountability. In contrast, human scholars, they possess deep understanding and wisdom, and all of this, it is gained through years of experience and through years of education. They are able to incorporate or to make together emotional intelligence as one of the main factors here in order to move smoothly and to move in a trustful way or form with the spiritual values, and these spiritual values are the ones that really make the difference. Human scholars, they are able to consider nuances of context, and that doesn't happen to the machines or to the AI tools. Of course, they consider cultural implications and the emotional weight of the religious teachings. So all of these things cannot be replicated by AI tools or different machines. What is the importance of integrity or epistemic integrity in this point? What I want to underline here, it is that indeed in Islam the quest for knowledge is not just transmitting some knowledge or giving some knowledge, or on the other side just taking or receiving some knowledge. If this knowledge is not closely related to strong elements like truthfulness and ethical responsibility, here it happens the one that we said, distortion. This distortion can cause misinformation, and of course misinformation leads to misguidance, and we are not interested in this part. Here I have the case studies of my paper, and this first of all, I would like to say that the first thing that we notice if we use this AI tools, it is that ChatGPT has a tendency. I'm especially talking about ChatGPT in this case, has a kind of tendency to adjust answers according to the user's input. He just studies you, knows who you are, knows what you want, knows what you like, knows what you dislike, and this way he prepares the whole answers that you are looking for. And it means that these are not related with the truth. Yet the whole information there that is given appears confident, but yet it is fundamentally inaccurate. That shows that it is untrustworthy especially for theological guidance. I have three important things that I would like to share from the survey. The first one, there are errors that are done in Islamic inheritance and ablution. So, ChatGPT, it is misinterpreting basic Islamic ruling, wrongly claiming that the father can exclude children from inheritance and insisting that knees must be washed separately in wudu. And this shows that the contextual understanding and reliability, it is missing. The second thing that we have noticed there are the mistakes in tafsir interpretation, and we have tried to compare the tafsir of Ibn Kathir and the interpretation that has been given by ChatGPT. Two are the important things that we have noticed there. The first one, it provides inconsistent materials or inconsistent explanation, first of all. And the second one, these explanation or these interpretations are tangential, saying that here the contextual interpretation, indeed, it is missing. We cannot accept this kind of interpretation because they are not what they really are in reality. Epistemic instability. ChatGPT easily misleads the user input. I have an example that I would like to share here with you. I took a verse from the Surah Al-Baqarah and I put it there. And I wrongly claim that this verse is from the Surah Mutafifin. And I wanted the interpretation of this verse. And the ChatGPT accepted that yes, this verse is from Surah Al-Mutafifin, but indeed it was not. Then, after I got the information, I changed. I gave another claim that was wrong, of course. And I said that, indeed, this verse, it's not from the Surah Al-Mutafifin, but it is from Surah Al-Fatiha. Can you interpret it to me? And it started interpreting it as it would be the part of the Surah Al-Fatiha. And then I changed the number of the verses. Instead of saying that it was the second verse, I said that it was the seventh one and so on. Then, in the end, when I said that, thank you for all of this wrong information that you have given to me, the question that I got indeed was not a question at all. So here, what we understand, it is that we don't have independent verification, or the untrustworthy is the other element that is broken here in this part. These three were the insights that I got from the survey that I did related to this question. In order to somehow wrap up this difference that exists between SLICON scholars and the real scholars, I prepared this simple table that I would like to share it with you. Here I have selected some of the key aspects in the transmission of the knowledge. And of course, the first one, it is the source of knowledge. We know that SLICON scholars, they operate in data patterns and in algorithms. Meanwhile, the real scholars, they are drawn or conclusions based on their lived experiences, their study, and their reflection. That is closely related to the reality. Another important aspect is the cultural sensitivity. We know that the cultural and spiritual nuances are not considered by AI systems. On the other side, we have the real scholars that they are deeply aware and very careful about the cultural, historical, and the religious context. And then we have another aspect. This aspect is the ethical reasoning. We know that awareness and accountability, they are not elements that belong to the SLICON scholars, and we notice it in the whole answers that we got from them. Then we have the real scholars that they engage in ethical and moral reasoning that are guided by faith and the values that they have, that they try or they want to transmit through this knowledge interpretation or transmission. Interpretations, they generate the whole output that is generated from SLICON scholars is a statistical output or a linguistical one. Then we have the real scholars on the other side that they interpret with wisdom, empathy, and of course with contextual understanding that makes the difference here in this point. Then we have the purpose. That is one of the key aspects that shows that yes, here the things or the information that we got from these two sources, they are indeed divergent between them. At the SLICON scholars, we have their focus is just on the efficiency and on the replication. Meanwhile, what is the aim of real scholars is totally different thing. They aim the truth, the understanding, and the spiritual integrity that is important for us. And the last element that it is obvious that is very different in these cases, it is about related with trustworthiness. And we know that at the SLICON scholars, here we have misinterpretation, here we have things that are not interpreted in the real form. Meanwhile, the real scholars, they operate according to the credibility, discipline, and responsibility in all of the cases. Here we are seeing that we have a moral drift, AI moral drift. But what is causing or where are the roots of this moral drift? Here I have three elements that, according to me, are causing this moral drift in AI. The first one is related with pre-trained data. What do we mean by this? By this we mean that ChatGPT learns from massive internet textbook, blogs, news, forums, and so on. It means that in the same time, they don't absorb just the knowledge, but together with them, they absorb even the bias. And it is obvious the fact that if bias is reflected from the data, the same thing must be done from the system or from the model that is created on this data. The second cause of this moral drift, of course, it is the human feedback. Here, I would like to say that the general responses that are good, bad, are the ones that are shaping the popular opinion. It means that the popular opinion is not shaped by the truth or morality, but just from these general responses, just as good and bad, and it makes the system user-friendly but ethically shallowed. We have the third one, that is the policy and moderation. Here we have a lot of things to talk, and it is a very sensitive point, but I'm just gonna cut it short. Generally, the model follows country-specific rules against the elements of hate, violence, and similar elements to these that are very sensitive and have a very huge impact in our society. And here it shows that we have the lack of moral and religious grounding that makes these systems exposed to bias. And of course, the consequences will be obvious. Okay, we as human beings, we are interested. Are we interested in steering the digital compass right now? Of course, we have that interest. But how we can steer that compass? Is it hard? Of course it is. Do we have to go back? Of course not. We have to move forward. But how? Here I have some suggested steps that I would like to share with you. And before sharing the steps, I have to make clear just one important fact that always we have to be aware that no machine can replace the wisdom and the authority of real scholars. Then, if we consider this condition, what I suggest is that we have to prioritize Islamic epistemology. We have to get sure that Muslim AI tools reflect the principle of Islam, because if they don't reflect these principles, they will just remain merely informations that are just transmitted without any weight, or the weight that they carry indeed will be decreased. The system should embody the values, the methodology, and in the same time, even the ethics of Islamic scholarship. The second step suggested here it is that we have to use verified and authoritative sources. AI responses must be grounded in carefully curated data sets, but yet is missing the verification of recognized scholars. And if this element is missing, here we cannot maintain the accuracy, the reliability, and the contextual integrity that is pretty important. The other step suggested is to embed Islamic moral principle. We have to, in the way how we design these AI systems, if we would be able to design our own ones, in them we have to incorporate values as justice, balance, and intention. This will make us sure that ethical reasoning is the one that is guiding the algorithmic decision, and it's not happening the other way around. Because if the algorithmic decision are guiding, we cannot say, because if we say it, it means that it is totally missing, and indeed, in some points, the ethical reasoning is totally missing. Then we have to promote loyal intelligence. We have to develop AI systems that serve the truth. We are not interested in rejecting these AI systems. Our interest indeed is just to put them in the proper way. And this way we have been able to create a kind of bridge, or to fill the gap that exists between algorithmic precision and on the other side we have the divine guidance. Then we have the education of a new generation. Indeed, this is pretty important. It is one of the most emergent things that we must do. We have to start immediately. Training Muslim scientists, data engineers, theologians that are capable of building tools that align in faith with intellectual rigor. And I have even another one: restore authority and confidence. We have to act proactively to control the technologies that indeed are shaping our future. And the whole information that is given there, or the data that they contain, must be verified by scholars in order to protect the authentic knowledge from the distortion. And meanwhile, we are trying to create these systems. And okay, we show some steps through which I really suggest that we must go in order to succeed in this battle that is just open in front of us. But what is the right path? And of course, the right path, according to me, it is the only one that is worth following. And of course, that one, it is the Golden Age. When we mention the Golden Age, we must be aware that knowledge should be pursued not as a means to prestige or to convenience, but as an act of worship that serves to the community. The second thing, mentioning the Golden Age means that we are talking about Al-Khwarizmi, Ibn Sina, and so on. They are the ones that show to us that the scientific inquiry should never be detached from the moral truth or moral accountability. Intellectual brilliance and the spiritual consciousness must go hand in hand. And in the end, inspired by the Golden Age, Muslims should develop AI that not only enhance human understanding, but these technological advancements that are happening now, they reflect the elements like justice, honesty, and the pursuit of truth, bridging this way the divine wisdom with the modern innovation. I think that this is the necessary thing that we must add in order for these systems to work ethically or as we want. And as a conclusion and determination, I have: in the age where artificial intelligence impacts human perception, Muslims must ensure that faith is guided by factuality, not by algorithmic convenience. Divine knowledge cannot be revealed by machines. It can only emerge through human intellect and insight. Hello? I
Thank you,
hope
Wajida. Yeah, yeah. It was great
I hope
presentation.
that it wasn't long, and I
No,
hope
it was so, how to say, moderate. And yeah, thank you so much. And I think the time, yeah, has finished, but for first session, I mean, but we couldn't understand how the time is going on. Yeah, that's why, firstly, if Professor Mehmet let me to summarize the presentation of, yeah, Professor Vaxhide Spahiu. Yeah, firstly, I want to share with all of followers knowledge pyramid because Wajide has used when she was talking about her presentation. There is one knowledge pyramid, and after my my task, more probably I will ask her about the possibility of changing knowledge pyramid or not, because this is maybe first step for facing with AI. Maybe after 20 years, we will change our knowledge pyramid. That's why I want to ask you, if you let me to ask Wajida firstly, the possibility of changing, yeah, knowledge pyramid. Yeah, I want to share with you, dear followers and listeners, knowledge pyramid because I think it's necessary for us to understand what Wajide told us about AI. Yeah, knowledge pyramid contains four important elements. Firstly, data. Data means that underdeveloped, or yeah, only some points we are facing with. Yeah, for example, the number plate of Düzce, now I'm in Düzce, I'm living in Düzce, is, as you know, 81. But only 81 doesn't have any meaning when we face with it. And this is a first step of knowledge pyramid. Yeah, data 81, for example. There is no meaning of this number for us if there is no usage, if there is no function, if there is no reality for our necessity in our real life. There is no meaning of it. Yeah, it's called with data. Firstly, secondly, information. Information means, for example, 81 is number plate of Düzce when we use it in front of our cars when we are driving, for example, intercities, or from one country to another when we are going, when we are immigrating, when we are visiting some persons or some people, I don't know. Yeah. And also, information doesn't have any effort. That's why data, first two, I mean data and information, can be found on AI, artificial intelligence, and after it, new task of new responsibilities of working people start. Yeah. Third one, third one is knowledge. And knowledge defines with some efforts, some innovations, some addings. It means that we have to produce something after data and information. This is knowledge. And Wajide specially spoke on knowledge. And the final one, the last one, is called with wisdom. If I'm not mistaken, Wajda maybe will be able to talk about it more, maybe, I don't know, maybe, yeah, more with more details. But if I'm not mistaken, scholars are talking about knowledge and wisdoms. Wisdoms are, yeah, belonging to some very special, very creative, maybe philosophers, maybe some theologians, maybe some politicians, maybe some entrepreneurs. That's why its final position of AI knowledge or information or data. Yeah, that's why firstly we have to decide which one is data, which one is information, which one is knowledge, and which one is wisdom for us, for Muslim people. Yeah, Wajide tried to explain some problems for us. Firstly, she wanted to talk about these details because we have some texts which are coming from our prophet and the brothers or friends of our prophet, ashab kiram we call them, and after them there are some other generations, and they try to interpret it Quran and Hadith, and we have faced with fiqh tradition, for example. We have to decide the meanings, but how can we define meaning? Meaning, we can define it functions and context. Functions and context. The meaning is use. And if we need to define meaning in that age, especially we are living in, we have to decide our context. And in my point of view, maybe Professor Wajda will not accept, I don't know. And in my point of view, Muslim people are not producers in this time. Generally, we are consumers. We are consumers. We are
Passive users,
users of,
I mentioned.
watch that, And that's why when we decide to these meanings, for example, tafsir or some other traditional, outputs, belong to data. Generally, we have some datas, informations, and if we are consumers, how can we produce some knowledge and wisdoms? This is, for example, big question, and Wajda tried to answer to this big question, and she said that we have some facings, some meetings, some accidents, some problems which are based on our real and realistic experiences, and we should talk about these experiences. And in that time, in that meeting experience, she shared her main argument with us, because there is one big difference between silicon creators and some users are living in the market, Muslim people, because Muslim people have traditions, have purposes, have some aims, have some necessities, and silicon philosophers or some creators deprive of these details. And how can we decide, how can we find the results? Because theory is easier than to live. Theory or argument are, or for example criticizing sometimes, is easier than to do something real in real life. Practicing is different. When we are facing in real life one presentation or one solution for one problem, especially after AI, how will we be able to decide which activity we can do? For example, it's really difficult for us. And Wajide pointed out some possibilities of these questions. It was also important. And there was one another point. It was extremely important for me, and maybe also for you. Hallucination. It's one reality of AI. And Vajide said for percentage of hallucination between 5 and 30%. It's big number. 30 is big number. Yeah. Sometimes AI can false, can be mistaken. It's really risky for us, for a real life, for future, for possibility. Even for now. Yes, for now. Because firstly, there is one distance between real users and silicon creators, and also there is one difference between producers and some 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 people, those who do some activities in real life, and also there is one difference interpretation of AI and interpretation of real life. And also, I want to summarize one detail. If I'm not mistaken, Wajide can maybe explain for us this detail. If I'm not mistaken, because before this presentation, this program, I didn't want Wajide to share her text with me because it was unethic for me. Yeah, actually, it was unethic for me. And now I followed and I understood and I concluded something for me and for you as a moderator. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, ethics means the usage guide of AI. Yeah, Wajide, wants to try to define ethics for AI because before, for example, at Edinburgh University, there is one philosopher who is professor of philosophy of data science and artificial intelligence, and her name is Shannon Weller. And according to my readings, her book was the most effective or maybe impressive book for me I have ever read in my career about philosophy of AI. Her editor book was so critic, I think, in for whole of the world. Even even in her book, I couldn't see definition of ethics of AI. And Wajide, I think, defined, if I'm not mistaken. And it means we can define, ethics of AI. Maybe Wajide can reject my definition. I don't know, actually.
No, not.
Usage guide of AI, and also some experiences with AI. And also Muslim people have these experiences. It means that also Islamic theologians, Islamic scholars, we can call them al-ulama'u, our ulama should decide for Muslim people, for theology of Islam, and for our future usage guide of AI for Muslim users, and maybe after 10 years, some Muslim producers. Why not? Maybe we will be able to do it. So I can conclude that this presentation we have faced with told us about a representation ability of AI of Muslim society in the world. Even though these Muslim societies have some differences among them, from Indonesia to Malaysia, from Malaysia to maybe Taiwan, from Taiwan to Myanmar, from Myanmar to India to Pakistan to Iran to Turkey, Syria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and also some immigrants or some native people are living in West and in US. Yeah, even though there are some differences among them, we have to decide. We have to decide of ability of representation of AI for Muslim real life, real experiences. And secondly, how can we decide the maybe main tools for really and yeah, maybe beneficially understanding our traditional datas. We have to decide also this. And in my point of view, yeah, this representation had very powerful philosophical background. I say this because Mrs. Wajide is a scholar of physics. Actually, she is physician. She is not social scientist. But yeah, it's interesting that maybe for all of social scientists, this presentation was also social in my point of view, social scientific, social scientific. Yeah, and also there was one another problem, algorithms, because for social scholars, human scientific scholars, yeah, this topic is very unknown, especially for me, because I am not mathematician or I am not computer scientist. That's why, for example, sometimes I can face with some people who can discuss among them maybe one time or whether AI will be able to achieve human consciousness, human conscious. Is it possible or not? Technical scholars or maybe natural scientists like Wajide know that it's impossible. But for social scientists, for some scholars, yeah, it is possible because sometimes we can imagine some things. Sometimes we can try to decide by using some how to say some arguments deprive of
Excellent.
real life,
Mm.
yeah. And thank you so much, Wajda, for this presentation. It was my pleasure to listen you, follow you, and yeah, I have only these questions. Firstly, what do you think about the possibility of changing knowledge pyramid? It's my first question. And do you have any suggestion for Islamic scholars to create one maybe alternative knowledge pyramid? Because in this knowledge pyramid there is no divine, and you told us about divine. More probably, this divine means some scholars who are expert of Islamic history or practices, more probably. That's why divine doesn't mean the God, for example, because there is no any possibility for us to talk with God. And yeah, that's why is there any possibility of changing knowledge pyramid, especially for Muslim people? Because it deprives of divine, yeah, divine data
Knowledge.
or yeah. And secondly, this is my first question. Yeah, and my second question, in your opinion, yeah, after this detail, in your opinion, algorithms, because we have to use AI. It's not how to say for it's it doesn't depend on our right, our free will. We have to use it. Maybe after 5 years, we will not be able to drive our cars without AI. And we more probably we will not be able to use our refrigerators or televisions or even now our maybe our mobile phones. It's impossible to use without AI. That's why it's obligatory for us to decide some ethical details. And in your opinion, is it possible or not whether Muslim scholars can decide also one universal ethics for AI users, even though Muslim scholars, yeah, are not producing, yeah, AI. What do you think? It's my second question. And one final question for you. And yeah, global warming. You have started your presentation with global warming. In your opinion, and also I want to ask our followers and watchers this question, in your opinion, and maybe for friendly, maybe to be honest, okay, to be honest, because also I am interested in post-colonial conditions, post-colonial, yeah, texts. In your opinion, is it our problem or not? Because sometimes I think that it's not our first necessity to talk about it. Because generally we have some other problems. That's why, in your opinion, is it possible for us to comprehend whole reality of global warming? And maybe I can also add that accuracy and truth words. Yeah, how can we define, for example, divine wisdom? Is it possible or not, Majid? Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. And also, after only we have maybe, yeah, 25 minutes, but I asked some big questions to Wajida, and yeah, if you can answer shortly, yeah,
Yes.
I think our followers will be happy, and after these answers, yeah, everyone can ask any question to Wajida because Wajida is here for answering all of the questions. Actually, I have to say that. I have to, not I should. It's not subject of politeness in my point of view. Yeah, we are in front of one big philosopher of AI. She is Wajida Spahiu. Thank you so much.
Not at all, but thank you again. Okay, I would like to start from my answer, the first one, of course, that somehow it is related even to the second one from another point of view. For example, why do we need to transmit that knowledge? Of course, in order to have good impact or in order to be beneficial to the society. This is the whole point. But on the other side, an AI system, in order to be beneficial, of course, it must be trustworthy. And what do we mean by being trustworthy? To be this way, it must fulfill five main conditions simultaneously or in the same time. Of course, what is the first one? It is fairness. Of these persons that are creating these systems, are they able to represent in a fair way the whole needs, the whole ideas, the whole desires of the whole different groups that exist in the world? This is the first point. Are they fair enough to do so? The second thing, of course, it is related with explainability. Are they able to explain us that these data that they are used are correct data? Or are they able to explain us how are they using this data and how are they training the systems or the programs? This was the second one. The third one is robustness. What is that? Or will they be able to show us or to ensure us, not just show, but we need to get sure that this data or this system will not be hacked in order from a person to benefit over another one, or in the way that a group don't benefit another one, or a country don't benefit to another one. Maybe another time we can touch a bit even the politics, but not today. So I'm stepping back. This was the third one. The fourth one, that is very important, it is transparency. Are they transparent enough with us? Are they giving us some data and they are saying to us, this is the system that we created, these are the data through which you can see how the system is working. Are they doing this? Of course not, because, okay, I'm not going further. And we have the last one, the data that, or the data privacy, what is known as the data privacy. Are we sure that with the data, when I'm writing something in ChatGPT, for example, I'm Vaxhide Spahiu, I have this, that, there are some data, our private data that we were constantly sharing with them. Are we sure that these data are not misused from others? And are we enough aware that if this data will be used, of course, the consequences will be tremendous. This is one of the parts that is related with the way how the systems must be created. So, if we want a system that is really beneficial to the society or to the whole world, of course, must be fulfill these 5 main conditions in order to function as we want. On the other side, we have even something very interesting that is related with the algorithms and what you mentioned. Somehow I started the second answer. What we want to share here, it is that not by accident, what I suggested on the steps that we have to take in order to steer the digital compass, it is to create a very strong young generation. What do I mean by a strong young generation? It is that even some of we in the previous time, in all times, we have been able to finish a university, to go and have a good work and so on, even without some basic mathematical concepts. And we know that in the everyday jargon, it is used that word that I passed another day of my life without using the Pythagorean theorem. Nowadays, I think that the young students, the generations that are coming, they need strong mathematical knowledge, strong, not basic one. They need to be good, they need to learn coding and so on. So if they are, of course, this is to another fact that even without our desire, we are exposed to the usage of AI. And it will come soon. It will come a point in which some specific groups will benefit over some others. And one of the reasons will be the fact that we are not able to operate efficiently with these new things that are coming directly or are impacting directly our life. This is about the algorithms. Related to the global warming, what I want to say is that in this context, somehow I see that AI can do even good things, not just bad things, because I'm the one that I really underline the fact that AI will be harmful. Yes, it will be. But there are even some good things that we can expect from them, I think that one of the things that from which we can benefit, it is this one, the global warming. Somehow, by using AI, we can interfere in some elements, but without finishing my whole point of view, I remember something, that the carbon emission in the universe right now, it is very terrifying. So how we can think that AI is benefiting us in this context? And there is even something else that I really want to share with you. It is that again, about the level of the knowledge that makes the difference, according to me. Yet the difference between human beings and AI it's obvious. Let's suppose that we have enough celestial data from each star that exists in galaxy and so on. We have enough data right now. If we put this data into a certain system, AI system, we won't be able to get the Newtonian's laws of motion from that. What does it mean? The human beings, they are another level. Why they are another level? Because they have the special ability to make together the curiosity and the knowledge that they have, and combining it even with abstraction, and in the same time without forgetting their creativity. If we make this element together, yes, this is what makes us unique. Another important point here that it really emphasizes or strengthens that point that human beings are unique, it is that if we put into another, I'm just considering similar examples. If we put into an AI system the data that we had in 1902, we won't be able to get from them the theory of relativity. And to me, this means too much. Okay? If you want, we
Thank you
can
so much.
continue with another.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm satisfied and I respect your answers. Thank
thank
you so
you.
much. It's not easy to decide the representative quality of AI for our life, but we are facing with it. Yeah.
Yes,
Mr.
we have to deal with
Professor
it.
Mehmet, please.
So, do you want me to ask question?
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
you want.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Vacide Hocam. It was very nice presentation. And also, Muhammet Hocam, thank you for your contribution as well.
Thank you
Also,
so much. Thank you so much.
you
It was my
contributed
pleasure.
for organizing this event as well. We owe you a lot, Alhamdulillah. So, Vacide Hocam, and as far as I understood, and you are usually giving some problems regarding AI. But on the other hand, we know that AI day by day is getting better versions, right? And do you think that one day is going to reach a level such that it's going to be complete authority, including religious matters? So, but sooner or later, and it's going to be complete authority. And but unfortunately, AI technologies usually have been developed by Westerners, where their view of Islam is not good. At
Yeah.
least it's not like us. And what's going to be your advice for us for that situation?
So I will go back to Alan Turing. He indeed said that if this we succeed, if we'll succeed in this process, we'll expect that machines will be the ones that will drug us, the first one. And I come nowadays at Neil deGrasse Tyson that said that soon AI will pet us, and this is so disappointing. Okay, saying that AI will come something mechanical and with an artificial intelligence within and petting us, this is very horrifying according to me. And on the same time, before going there, I would like to clarify something. What I want is this one. Sometimes it exists a kind of a misconception between or misinterpretation between machinery and AI. We have to explain that here exists a difference. And here I'm going to consider a very interesting example that has been given by Harari. That is a very simple, but this is a meaningful example. We have to understand that AI, it's not doesn't understand automation. It is an agent. And to make this difference, I would like to show you this, to share with you this simple thing. It is, what is automation and what is the agent? What is the main difference between them? For example, let's suppose that we have a vending machine and we go there, we push a button and we took an espresso. What is this? This is automation done by a certain machine. What is AI in this case? The AI would be if we go nearby the vending machine and there without even asking an espresso, the vending machine will say to us that I have been observing you in 2 weeks and according to me what you would like it is an espresso. Or if we go further, after some time, it will say that indeed I have invention a drink that you better like compared to espresso. This is the main difference between the machinery or automation and AI. And why I'm concerned about AI? Because even in their definition, what makes AI is the fact that they are able to learn, but they are able to change. What does it mean? According to the data that I given, even we train them carefully. What makes their intelligent artificial is the fact or the ability to change. When these changes can be drastically, and it means that we cannot even control there. And here arises the whole concerns that we have about them. And I think that it is very another important thing. It is, we say that yes, we are unsure about this process, but yet we are letting this process accelerating. And when they're the persons that are dealing with the invention of AI, they are constantly dealing with it. When they are asked, please, can you say to us why you are so hurrying in this process, even why you are unsure about what is going on exactly? And the answer, it's a bit disappointing. Why the reason is a bit disappointing? Because they say that we cannot trust the other communities that are operating with AI. How is possible that they don't trust, for example, they don't trust humanity? But if to the same persons we ask the question then, do you trust the AGI that is soon coming? They say yes. And here it is another paradox that for me will cause, or it is the core cause of the other things that may happen in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And also thank you to Muhammet Bulgen, because organizer of this meeting, this webinar is Muhammet Bulgen, Professor Muhammet Bulgen. Actually, I want to thank to him. It's going on so beneficially. There is another question from Sibgatullah, Mr. Sibgatullah. Is it theoretically possible to construct an AI? You can read the question in the chat.
Yes.
Vaxhide, you can follow. Is it theoretically possible to construct an AI ecosystem that can represent the full diversity of collective humanity, remain ethically responsible, politically neutral, oh my God, epistemically reliable, and technically resistant to manipulation? Or is it this objective structurally impossible due to current global power, asymmetries, data ownership relations, and the inherent nature of algorithmic determinism? Firstly, I want to add one sentence into this question. Is it possible, firstly, is it possible to create one system in real life, firstly, and secondly, with AI?
Okay. Yes, it is possible to create it.
Wow.
But not such a
It's
system.
not my expectation from your answer. Okay, go
Just
ahead.
a second. But there is a but then. Yes, but here I have to create such a system that the person has written here. I cannot find his or her name here. Of course, it is right now it is impossible. I mentioned in the beginning that we cannot fulfill the whole desires of everyone. If we don't put the whole desires and the whole interest of everybody that exists right now in the world, such a system that is written here, it's not what we are looking for. But what are the scientists doing right now? They are trying, of course, soon will be AGI. And what are they trying to create? In order to put enough data, they are trying to make the AI blocks bigger. Making that bigger, it means that they need more data. And as one of the scientists said, we think that there are not enough data in the universe to fulfill that huge box. This is the first thing that doesn't let us do such thing. Another important point that I don't think that we can do it. It is even a certain conflict that exists in the AI race between different countries. We know we have different plans and so on. This is the second element that don't let us make such a system. And the other one, it is the economical or the financial one. Why? In order to create what it is said to be AGI, of course, they will need to spend 10 times more money than the Manhattan Project has been investing into the development of the nuclear weapons. This is the first one. Or 100 times more money that are used or that are spent on the Large Hadron Collider. That is the biggest scientific investment that is done up to here. So it means that in this condition, this is the third reason that we cannot do it. And we have another question that doesn't need an answer according to me, that if we are trying to put into a system $500 billion, and we don't know exactly what would be the consequences. Is this a good choice? Are we really the ones that really have a natural intelligence, or we are misusing that natural intelligence that will cost too much to every one of us?
Yeah, everything is, depending on the money. Without money, we cannot imagine anything.
Of
Yeah,
course.
and
The power is
and we know that Muslim societies deprive of their own money.
yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, but this is the situation in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mr. Professor Mustafa Alıcı is with us. Welcome, Mustafa Alıcı, and also Miss Bahar, Doctor of Psychology, and
Thank you very
also.
much, Muhammet Hocam. Thank
Oh,
you
okay,
very
please
much.
go ahead.
And the lucky moderation for you and for the speaker. Thank you.
Oh, I think you have one question or maybe two questions, Mustafa Alıcı. You can ask to our philosopher of AI.
Sure. I will do a little bit, after five or a little time later. I will do that. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Oh, thank you too. And Bahar, Mrs. Bahar.
Hello.
Oh, okay, please go ahead.
No, I don't have any questions.
Oh my
But
God, I expect.
no, I am new in the field of AI, and I'm trying to understand the discussions around the topic before saying anything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your talk.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Bahar, Doctor of Psychology. And yeah, is there any question from anyone who watches or follows? Yeah. If there is no question, I can ask many questions because now I want to keep, because we have one philosopher of AI, and when we should ask her about all of our curiosity on AI. Yeah, and because she said it's possible to it's possible to do something good. I don't know.
Yes, something good will be done. But for example, if we consider the development that have been done in medicine, we know that during to the usage of AI, right now exist 200 million proteins, or have been developed 200 billion proteins in 1 year. And this is good. According to what is predicted to be good in medicine, it is even another fact. By being able to invent such a lot of drugs, would be able even to cure different disease. Another important fact that lately is shared, but I don't think that it will be able, it is that they pretend that they can extend even the lifespan. And according to me, this is really impossible, but yes, yet they pretend that we can do it. As soon as we have these things, these good things, we can pretend that even other good things can happen. But of course, if the systems are trained carefully, without forgetting the important fact that they have the ability to change, despite the way how they are trained in the beginning. So here it comes that disappointing point, and that point in which we won't be able to predict the exact direction and how they are going on. Are they being harmful or not? Even why we are aware that they will be harmful somehow. Then another reason why they will be harmful, it is that they are touching each point of our life. each dimension of our life. If in one dimension they will be good, yes, there are a lot of proteins that are that we already have right now, or some cures for different diseases. There will be others through which they can harm our society. Because another reason is that system can be purposely constructed by different groups in order to cause harmful things to the society. This is something else that is related with something else.
There is another question for you from
Yeah.
Mr. Yeet. Despite all the development of AI to now, we can still separate some outputs and categorize which are made by human being and AI. Do you think in the future outputs of AI and human beings can be separated easily? I don't know. What do you think?
Outputs? Let me read the question carefully. Is the question written here? Despite all the development of AI to now, we can still separate some outputs and categorize which are made by human beings and AI. Yes, I got it. Even while we have a certain system that is proceeding, it is giving us outputs, we know that after, in the backstage, there are persons, specific persons always. And if there are persons that are interested in harming the society, here the danger will be magnified. This is the point that I said. Okay, they are hiding after the systems, but we know that they are specific persons. We know
But there
that
is one point.
yes,
There is one point I have to remind you. By the time we will face with some people who transform to AI after usage of AI, and this experience more probably will change the nature of human being and also social nature. That's why the culture will transform into one another stage. And in that time, is it possible to separate or distinguish this is human and this is AI production? This is first. Secondly, I want to ask you something else, Wajide.
yes,
And yeah, the time is, it's, we don't have much time actually, but I want to ask you,
yes,
what do you think about humanity? Because according to European societies, Western European sites is representing the truthness of humanity. According to Americans, for example, Northern Americans, especially US people, they are real humans. Maybe for Chinese people, after 20 years, they will be the representative examples of humanities. And according to Muslim people, it's another kind of humanity. According to Orthodox Russian people, it's another kind of humanity. How can we generalize the meaning of human for AI? Even though some of us are producers and some of us are only consumers.
yes.
Also, some of scholars are technical scholars and producers, and some of us are some scholars who are only know only some social sciences. What do you think? Yeah.
Okay. I'll continue with the first one. One of the main concerns, not just my concern, but the whole ones that are aware of what is going on right now in the whole world, it is that it will soon will be at a point when we won't be able to identify if something that we are facing, it is real or it is an illusion or it is virtual. And when it comes to this point, it's not just about the knowledge that is transmitted. It's not just about the knowledge that we get, but about even other elements like you just mentioned when we addressed the question. So this is another question, another big concern. We won't be able, if this thing that we are facing right now, even a kind of conversation like ours tonight, we won't be able to notice or to identify if it is real or it is just an illusion or it is a virtual. about do they represent humanity? I would like to start with, I will go back in history, not that far, but we know that 2016, we know that AI AlphaGo has defeated the human Go champion. And why this event has been so big, it's not just the fact that AI has defeated human champion, but it was the fact that in that game has been invented some new strategies that has never been mentioned in the culture of that kind of game. And the question is, where is the humanity if this AI soon will be inventing military strategies, financial strategies, new currencies, or even new weapons? I don't think that the persons that are working in such systems that would be able to produce, there are not just the new weapons, new financial strategies, but it can be even new ideologies, even new religions. And I don't think that there is no place to discuss about humanity for the persons that work in such conditions. And we have to admit the fact that there are persons that they purposely do this. Why? In order to win the AI race that can, from which they can benefit in a lot of dimensions. And of course, the first one, it is that financial one. So it means that we again return back in that point that one of the main or core concepts of the truthfulness, it is broken here. So there is no place to talk about humanity.
Yeah, maybe it can also mean that it's only one concept. Yeah, maybe we cannot generalize. There is one last question from Mr. Professor Mustafa Alıcı. You can read also, I can read. A scientist, firstly, there is one conception belongs to him. Yeah, he reminded it, and yeah, okay, I am reading. A scientist is not someone who gives the right answers, but someone who asks the right questions. If you accept this sentence, as stated by Claude Lévi-Strauss, the more powerful questions you can ask in your life, the stronger it becomes. And therefore, my question, will these SLICON scholars be able to ask questions within answers and answers within questions? It seems only scholars of real life can ask such questions. Actually, it belongs to as if I don't know, because maybe Mustafa Alıcı can object to my interpretation of this question, but this question seems like pragmatist question in my
I really liked it. I have Professor Mustafa Alıcı, right?
Yeah, sure. I am here.
Dear Professor, thank you for your deep question, and I really loved it.
Thank
this
you.
is true. Indeed, it is something powerful. And the answer for me in this condition is that AI is able to excel in two main points. Which are they? They are pattern recognition. We know that they work using patterns, the first one, and the second one is data processing. But what is missing at them that makes only real scholars that you have mentioned in the end of the answer very unique or very different from them, and making us a bit optimist that they cannot reach our level, it is the fact that empathy is missing at them. And not just the empathy, it is even the contextual reasoning. It is even the complex decision making. They cannot make complex decision making. And on the other side, it is even the ethical reasoning that makes them, I think, that they cannot exceed our level of intelligence. According to me, this is the point. Yes, they excel in these two things, but these two things are not related, especially with strong or the power that have the decision making that we do naturally. We have the ability to do in a natural form. According to me, they won't do it.
Okay.
Maybe the companies, some investors will decide everything, but without consumers or users it's not, how to say, a unique site. Yeah. The last question, second, what do you suggest to read good material for the critique of the views on AGI is going to be reached in the near future? What is your own view on the possibility of it, by the way? Thanks for the nice talk. Yeah,
Thank you
I
very much.
agree with him. It's
Okay,
a nice talk.
what do you suggest to read good materials for the critic of the views on is going to reach in the future? What is your view on the possibility of it, by the way? Yes, I think that they will try. I'm starting from the end. I think that they are already trying. They are already proceeding. They have already enough money to do so, even why it is a very high risk. But according to me, they cannot go that far. And this belief of mine comes even from another perspective. I'm a believer, and I think that some things are belong to just someone else. I think that something belongs, some kind of creation of some things belong just to the God, and full stop. There is no word after this. About what I suggest you, I think that nowadays we are more interested on listening to something that reading books. Even why we as scholars we cannot move on without reading books. And I have a lot of things that I can suggest you. But the first thing that comes in my mind that I really love it. It is Yuval Noah Harari. And I really like the scholars that have the critical thinking. Just going in one direction is not enough. Seeing from up everything and analyzing the whole possible directions, according to me, is the best thing or the best way through which we can proceed, or we can get enough information. Because even here we must be careful, because there are persons that are paid from someone in order to make famous a kind of theory or a kind of strategy that they are already using. So we have to be careful or selective even the information that we decide to read or decide to study or analyze.
Thank you so much especially for this brave. I want to say, I want to call with brave presentation, brave talk, and very brave answers to us. I hope all of followers and watchers liked this presentation, and we are satisfied because of these answers we have faced with. Okay, the last sentences will belong to Mehmet Bulgan, Professor Mukaddes Turak, and Vaxhide Spahiu again. Please, Professor Mehmet Bulgan.
Thank you, Muhammet Hocam. You said everything. Elhamdülillah.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. You.
More.
Firstly, you did everything, and secondly, Miss Vaxhide. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we want to thank you, and of course, Vaxhide Hocam, thanks a lot. Inshallah, we are going to have you again here in
Inshallah,
the
why not?
future.
Wow. Okay.
We really satisfied, inshallah. And after we upload it in our YouTube channel, inshallah, everyone is going to watch it again. So other people also are going to be benefited. So thank you again, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For the end, if you give me permission, especially if we have students here within us, I would like to address, if you see it reasonable, a kind of advice for them, especially for the students.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it will be beneficial also for my students. At Dicle University.
My
And
advice
they
to
are with
them
us.
is that use AI, but don't become it. Keep your judgment, keep your honesty, keep your dignity intact always. Then don't forget that the word soon will automate every task but cannot automate the character of the human being. So keep it safe, please, and work on increasement of your character. If you stay critical, if you stay human especially, I will ensure you that you will be able to outgrow the whole AI tools that this strange area is producing right now.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This
It was my
last
pleasure.
sentence was maybe, yeah. This last sentence was so artistic, and I think, yeah, it
I write
it
sometimes.
summarizes, yeah, it summarizes everything. Yeah, it summarizes everything, and I support actually. Frankly
Yeah,
speaking, yeah, I am also supporting AI and especially your claims, your arguments.
thank you
And
very much.
Miss Mukaddes, please say something.
I have no question, but thank you for the valuable presentation and for moderating. And thank you to all the participants. I hope to see you again in another program, inshallah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, guys, yeah, it's time for closing this Zoom and it's time is over. Thank you so much for watching, for asking, for becoming with us. I want to say again, thank you, Miss Vaxhide Spahiu, yeah, from
Pleasure
Kosovo and
was the
from
whole
Albania.
mine. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention and everything else. It was really a great evening, and I really do appreciate infinitely the moments of this evening that I just shared with you.
And also, I want to thank to Professor Mehmet Bulgen and Ms. Mukaddes Turak, and also all of professors who are here with us, and some students who are our future, and also Miss Bahar, Doctor of Psychology at Düzce University. Yeah, and all of guys from any country, from any place. And also, I want to be with you again in the future, and especially in the topic of AI, actually. Thank you so much.
Good night.
See you.
See you.